So, um, hello to everyone. Today, me and my group mates Fatima, Nasrin, and Sabina will talk about the agricultural overproduction in Azerbaijan. So, first, when we talk about overproduction, I want to mention a little bit about the Karl Marx ideas about overproduction. So, this is mainly about the Marxist crisis of overproduction. Karl Marx claimed that actually capitalism is under the threat, and the main reason, the main possible reason of capitalism collapse is overproduction. And he claims that bourgeoisie has already lost its control over the market, and it's very important that they will find the solutions, the ways how they can just protect and not let capitalism to collapse. And he argued and they provided three ways for doing this. The first way was to actually eliminate the productive forces. Second way was to create new markets, and the last was exploit old markets. So by implementing these ways, it is possible somehow to stop overproduction process, and this also will lead to the sustainability of capitalism. Now I want to talk a little bit about the elements that lead to overproduction. So the first one is mechanization. So when we say mechanization, what we mean? Mainly it is about moving from handwork or animal labor to the machinery production. And of course, when we use in firms, fabrics, we use machinery, certainly it will increase the level of production, and it is also possible that it will create overproduction. So the next element is rationalization. When we say rationalization, it's about using your resources, your labor in a more efficient way. And even this can lead to overproduction. For example, if we are producing a lot of materials, a lot of things, maybe there is no demand for that kind of high production, but we still do. And the last element that leads to overproduction is structural policies of government. It is commonly known that the policymakers, producers, they are always interested in making different policies, different change in agricultural sector, in overproduction sector. That's why any kind of new policies that will be taken by government, for sure they will affect production level, and of course it also can increase the level of production, which actually can lead to overproduction. So now my group mates will talk about the other parts.
Well, hi guys, my name is Sabina, and today I'm continuing with the pros and cons of agricultural overproduction in Azerbaijan. Well, from the first speaking, according to the Professor Richard Payne, the core objective of agricultural overproduction is to encourage world countries to consume more food and to waste more good in developing economies. But simply thinking, what does this impact have on parties? I mean, how negative and positive sides are accounted for? Well, despite these data's facts, all these warnings, overproduction in agriculture has persisted for so many years in Azerbaijan. Every farmers, well, let's speaking with the positive sides of agricultural overproduction. Well, every farmers as well as every government of the country will aspires to produce overflow food products every single year. It enables poor farmers to revenue more extra profit and living a simply comfortable and graceful life. Well, everyone can progressively eradicate their poverty by simply gaining more profit and with the help of agricultural overproduction. Well, it's also accurate that the agricultural surplus is one of the key measures of a country's ability to create and maintain food and nutrition security. Well, the key advantages that from this that we can learn, agricultural production leads to higher farm revenue. So farmers' economic status improved as agricultural revenue will increase. Let's look at the negative side of agricultural overproduction. Well, it has simply consequences for the world economy. But how this is happening? Azerbaijan here and world economy there. Well, simply surpluses that are heavily supported reduce competitive prices on the export business, posing serious issues for developing nations whose economy are actually based on the agriculture. They also have this tendency to weaken motivation for food supply. Will subsidize disposition of excesses, typically as food assistance, upsets commodity markets such as rice or sugar, undermining economies of developing nations that actually rely on them. Well, another negative aspect can be considered soil, simply land degradation. Well, soil contamination is caused by poor farming practices, and these practices are considered as the overproduction agricultural practices by farmers. Well, most of these behaviors are of sync and with nature's inherent cycles and diversity. As a result, they have been creating a soil degradation and this growing usage of chemicals such as pesticides or fertilizers has distributed natural nutritional content of the soil, and this is the cause of most farmers are actually nowadays overusing the chemicals. That was it, guys. Thanks a lot for listening.
Hello everyone, I'm Fatma Mirziyev and I'm second year BEPA student. Today I'm going to talk about reasons for overproduction in Azerbaijan. As my other group members mentioned, overproduction means the production of more of a product, commodity, or substance that is wanted or needed. In general, overproduction begins with a lack of awareness, getting stuck in the status without asking questions and reviewing construction process and produce. Overproduction can easily take root in any of a load, error or loophole in the planning and execution process. Reasons start with the supply and demand. The more there is something supply and the less people pay for it, demand. In overproduction, that means the supply becomes too great, causing the demand for products to fall and therefore the price of products to fall. If people aren't demanding a product, companies are going to have to charge less for it to make people more likely to buy it. So let's look at the other reasons. Requests for longer production times or batch size are required due to long setup times, ordering more materials than necessary, intermediate production flows expected, unbalanced production stages, cells or sections, guessing what the customer might want in the future, creating a false demand. Then there are reasons such as farmers can't pay their expenses and then live workers go out of business. We can simply say like that. It encourages with high demand, stores order huge inventories of products to sell. After that, stores eventually stop ordering new products to be made, and finally, stores and manufacturers have to lay off workers and go bankrupt. Of course, there are solutions for these problems, and now my group mate is going to talk about this. Thank you for listening to me. Goodbye.
Karl Marx argues that throughout the history there have been crises of overproduction, which threaten the base of society. There are, however, three ways to combat this crisis. First, they can destroy the productive forces. Second, they can create new markets. And finally, they can exploit old markets. If the bourgeoisie fail to combat this crisis, then the entire capitalist system could fail apart. Marx's theory indicates that producers are led to waste more food and create products that vary that vary only slightly from previous ones, or look for new markets in order to counter overproduction and maintain control over the system that benefits them. These actions can destabilize global and domestic agriculture markets. As aforementioned, Marx argues that capitalists will exploit established markets, or in other words, find a way to revitalize consumer markets. Turning to the Azerbaijan agriculture, this process indeed emerged. Due to the years of domestic lobbying and other historical factors, Azerbaijan farmers have benefited from a less competitive internal market, meaning that the market is quite established and difficult to enter. With the advent of the organic label, Azerbaijan farmers have successfully widened their old market with the growth in popularity of organic food. In the past decade alone, the organic market has grown exponentially. Given the country's net import position for most agricultural products, that domestic market may offer the sector opportunities to expand. However, using these opportunities requires the sector to respond to the dynamics of food market demand in Azerbaijan. Domestic food consumption patterns are slowly changing, influenced by increasing incomes and urbanization, and leads to more variety and convenience products. A change in food environment also affects how people make food consumption choices. The rising attendance of supermarket in the country that related increasing rates of complying with quality and food safety requirements importantly shape this food environment. The agricultural sector of Azerbaijan produces a wide variety of products. Most important crops are cereals, wheat, barley, maize, etc. Depending on the cultural climatic condition in the regions, crop and horticulture products are mainly produced by irrigation and rain-fed. In conclusion, production trends for all three main cereal crops have been positive since 2007, with wheat and maize production about 40% higher than in 2007, and barley production even doubled up to slightly less than 1 million tons in 2016. Cereals are mainly used for feed and food consumption. So, we came to the end of the presentation. I sincerely appreciate your attention.